Welcome to the Be That Healing Girl podcast. And today on this episode, we're going to talk about how to stop anxious attachment to live your best life. Okay? Because I have a sneaky feeling that if you are in my world, you're listening to the podcast, you are living not your best life. You are living the worst life ever. It is the worst. And I know that because y'all know at this point I have done this. This was my jam, to live my worst life with anxious attachment. So if that is you, then and you are feeling like you are just not able to focus, it's impacting your work, it's definitely stopping you from hanging out with friends, doing things you love, then this is the episode for you, honey. And if you're new here, my name is Claire. I'm a relationship coach and I love helping high achieving, high performing, maybe a little OCD, a little type A kind of girl who's a go-getter, and you are slaying at your career, academics, and you are somehow still sucking at not being anxious and overthinking your relationship. So if that is you, you are with the right crew. And if you're enjoying this podcast episode or any of the podcast episodes, hitting the 5 stars means so freaking much. Literally. Also, Apple Podcasts, y'all have been stepping up. Not gonna lie. I mean, my Spotify girlies, y'all have my back. But thank you for hitting that 5 star. It's really like a high five, literally. I sit down with Craig and I share with him, like, look, people are high fiving me, and it means a lot. Anyway, so let's do this thing. I just also want to say that if you are really committed to living your best life, I have this fun free thing happening this January. It is the Relationship Glow Up Challenge. It is daily things you can do in less than 10 minutes in your inbox. I can't wait. It's totally free. We're going to do it together. I'll put the link in the show notes. And I wanted to do this episode that's like a great kind of reminder if you choose to glow up with us in 2025 about what this really means. And so I have been so guilty of this in so many ways, and I'll be honest, it's also happened with me and Craig in the beginning, where I would definitely put my life on hold. And I will say that I was at a point in my healing journey when I met Craig where this was a little better, and I got a lot of temptation. I had a lot of opportunities that presented themselves to me where I could have definitely given up on myself and held space open and just made sure I was available, this whole thing. And I mean, I've been all over the map with anxious attachment, relationship anxiety, and there has definitely been many times where I was the queen of saving space. I would definitely put my fun things, the things that lit me up, to the side because I felt like I was always holding space for another person. And I didn't plan on talking about this, but we're going to go there. The podcast is just like, who knows? But I really feel that this was maybe fed to me from just like the media, from, I hate to say this, but Disney. I really felt that my white knight was out there. And I will also say, I felt like pretty much every relationship I was in was like my white knight. I was like, this is the one. This is the one. And my God, it's going to be the one. Teeth grinding, like, you're the one. And I can just honestly call myself out around that was pretty much my attitude around every single relationship. And I was constantly holding space, putting my desires, what lit me up, aside. And that is obviously problematic. And if you are, I'm also going to say that a lot of you are probably 30s. A lot of the people that I kind of see in my world are in that range. In your 20s, you can kind of skate by and you won't even notice this stuff. And if you're here, great, and you're in your 20s. But one of the things that I regret. Oh gosh, I hate to say that word. It didn't even come out right. But yeah, I really am sad. Regret's not the right word. I'm sad for the part of me when I was in those spaces that was constantly worried about the future. And if you look at anxiety, that's what it is. Anxiety is about the future. And when we are living in the land of what if he calls me, what if he texts me, what if he becomes free, what if we could hang out and we can go to the barbecue, like all of that energy that you're putting into the future, into the land of what if, you are doing yourself a huge disservice because life is happening now. Okay, life is happening now. And whenever you put the pause on yourself, you're not living to your fullest. And let me ask you this, do you want to be with somebody who is not to their fullest? That's maybe half-assing it in their life? Like, really? Do you want to be, really? Do you want to be with somebody who's half-assing and not living their life to the fullest? Then that's something to really look at. So, in order for us to live our best life, and for me, that is like the total package where things are going great at work, things are going great with friendships, things are going great with travel, things are going great with a relationship, things are going great with the parents, then we have to feel full. And one of the ways we do not feel full is when we put our lives on pause. And this is kind of like the vicious cycle that I see so much, that we can't actually live our best life if we are putting ourselves on pause for another person, right? And when we are putting our life on pause and we're putting this person on a pedestal, or just we're pausing our life because we want space with them, the reality is we have to be full within ourselves to feel full. Right? And this is also why this kind of creates the same dynamic where you don't feel fulfilled and then you are waiting for somebody else to fill you up. And that's just not a great energy. This is like, and I used to have a bad habit with this too, but like waiting to eat, and then you can't make good decisions at the end of the day because you're starving. You've starved yourself. Feel into that. If you are starving because you've neglected your own needs, and then they come to you after they do the guys' night and you're like foaming at the mouth, like that is not a fun energy to be around for them. It's also not a fun energy for you to be in either, right? No, I don't want you to foam at the mouth. That's like not cute. I'm really having a hard time thinking it like when that would be a cute thing. It's not. It's just not a cute thing to be foaming at the mouth because you're not feeling full. So the way that you live your best life to stop anxious attachment is living your best life in the moment, in the now. And when we can put the focus on feeling full now, then they come back from the football game or whatever, and you're just like, I love my life and things are great. And this would happen to me so much. And this is one of the things I absolutely know happened for Craig and I. There were opportunities where I could have slowed down my yoga journey. And at that point, I was doing a lot of yoga. I was teaching. I was getting my 500-hour certification. In fact, I think I had started and I committed to my 500-hour teacher training for yoga. And P.S., it's like a 2-year journey. It is 3 days. By the time my teacher was living about 3 hours away from me, and I freaking love her. It was the best investment ever. I have no regrets. But it was a commitment. It was every couple of months, maybe 2 or 3 months for 2 years straight. And can you imagine, like, full anxious attachment? I'm healing it, and I'm choosing to go away, and I don't regret it. I wish I could go on one right now, but I don't know. I'm not into yoga as much anymore. Maybe I'll find something else. I have you guys. But one of the things that has helped me, in fact, me living my life to the fullest, being in that 500-hour yoga teacher training was so incredible because I got to fill myself up. And Craig, at the time, avid recreational soccer player. Like I don't know, some of you might be soccer players yourselves, but like really into it, the rec soccer league, doing it for years, super obsessed with it. And we had our own thing. And because we were both satisfied in these other areas, coming together was so much sweeter, and it helped to lessen this push-pull thing that we were playing in, okay? So I just want to take a strong stand for you to live your best life. It's not after you earn your secure attachments. You live your best life now. That's how you move to earning a secure attachment, okay? So that being said, let's turn to the mailbox. I love the mailbox. And one of the things that, again, if you're in the Healing Girl Gang, or maybe you've never heard about it, the Healing Girl Gang is my community where we basically commit every single month to an entire theme that is dedicated to help you healing anxious attachment. And one of the things we're talking about in January is how to be the main character energy. All right? No more psychic energy. No more saving them a seat. I'm a sidekick, focusing on them. The actual tangible education, that's the masterclass. The implementation, what do you tangibly do? And the Action Taker Toolkit. There's coaching calls, like so many things, all in the Healing Girl Gang. There's a link below. Check it out. So let's go to the mailbox and let's answer Kristen. Kristen says, hi there. Hi, Kristen. I'm currently newly dating somebody. I love these questions. I love the mailbox. It's all these different kind of areas. So I'm currently newly dating someone. And this is probably one of the healthiest dynamics, congratulations, I found myself in so far, which is so refreshing. Naturally, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. And this week, I kind of sunk into self-sabotage mode due to stress outside the relationship. This is pretty typical for me, and I'm really hoping to turn around some of my habits and thoughts so I don't screw up a good thing for no reason. Girl, I love this question, and I also was thinking, I'm planning out the topics and all the things that I want to teach in the Healing Girl Gang. There is a self-sabotage month coming. There is a piece, a topic around stress outside the relationship and how do you manage that, like on a nervous system level. So literally all these things are coming since you're in the gang. And I just want to say this, that so you're in one of the healthiest dynamics, and so I just want to pose this question to you: what if the shoe doesn't drop? I know. What if the shoe doesn't drop? That's the first thing. Like, are you waiting for a shoe that doesn't even exist? I hope you're seeing me on YouTube, but I'm like, hello? What if that didn't even exist? What if the shoe doesn't exist? There's no shoe to drop. It's just, you're just barefoot. There is no shoe. So that's one thing. And the other piece that we're going to talk about in the January masterclass, main character energy, is the theme. The piece that I want you to realize is that you're living in the land of what if. And one of the things to think about and realize, and I've talked about this in other episodes, but anxiety is living in what isn't real. History, the past is a history and the future is a fantasy. The past is a history and the future is a fantasy. What is fantasy? Really think about that. How would you define fantasy? I love the fairies that go boom boom books, okay? I love a sexy bat boy. I also need some good fantasy book recommendations, so if you are into that, send me them. But it's not real. You know, Razan, as hot this bat boy is, he's not real. It's fantasy, right? And so I just want to say that the future is a fantasy. It's not even real. So you're putting all this time and energy into something that may not even exist. Like the thing that you're scared of may not even exist. And then my other question to you is, who are you going to be if it is? Like, who are you going to be when that shoe does drop? So are you going to be the kind of person that just crumples? Or are you going to actually be able to let the thing happen and handle it as you handle it? This is also like, do you want to walk around being scared that you're going to get in a car accident? I'm also just aware too that if you might be listening to this podcast and you do have a legitimate car fear, but I just want to say this with so much love. Is that the life that you want to live? Just going to like open my heart to you. Is that the life that you want to live? Because to me, that's not a way to live. A way to live, living in fear sounds really tough. And I get it. I'm not saying this, and I want you to really feel my heart opening to that. I understand what that's like to live like that. And even if you're facing it right now, one of the things that I want to point you toward is that we all have choice. We all have autonomy. Like so much of what I teach is about your ability to choose. Every moment you have the ability to choose. You have choice. Okay? So the one moment, it's moment by moment. Am I going to choose to be with my fear? Am I going to choose to be okay, I'm not in the fantasy, I'm in the now. I'm with my person right now. We're holding hands. It's actually happening right now. Are you going to be that person that's in the moment, or are you going to be the person that's going to let the fear dictate how you act? Now, that's not to say if you have a fear of cars or car accidents, like that's not to say don't wear a seatbelt. Of course, wear a seatbelt, right? But are you going to white knuckle it every time? It's like, are you going to white knuckle the golf cart? Like, my gosh, just, what can you do in that moment? Just is realizing that the car accident isn't happening right now. You're just in the car. You know what I mean? So it is about orienting to who do you want to be in this moment. And if you're a one-on-one client, I know some of you are, I talked to another person who used to work with me one-on-one, and she was like, oh yeah, I live listening to the podcast. They know, my one-on-one clients know, that this is about who we're being in any given moment, every moment, who we choose to be. That is deeply ingrained. It's the subtext of all the teachings that you're getting here in the Healing Girl Gang, in the podcast, from just hearing me talk. This is about you choosing. And one of the things that I'm a Sag. It was my birthday. December's my birthday month. But one of my superpowers is I can, through the wavelengths of how we're communicating right now, however you're listening to the podcast, I want you to hear me. I believe in you. I believe in your sacred right to choose. That choice is yours, okay? So choose to be in the now, not the fantasy of the shoe dropping or the worst thing happening or white knuckling it and you don't know the car accident. That's not real. What's real is right now, wherever you're at, being in the moment with your person, okay? So yeah, and if you are in the Healing Girl Gang, you have so many things. You have workbooks, you have action taker toolkits, you have step-by-step things, you're getting the education, and I just want to lovingly invite, are you doing them, right? And healing isn't an overnight thing. It's not like you get microwaved and all these wounds go away. Like you have to put the time and energy to go to rehab, right? Physical therapy. Like you don't just unfreeze your shoulder just by going one time. It does take intention, commitment, and showing up. And everybody has a different growth rate, so be gentle with yourself. Speaking of being gentle, something exciting is coming, which does mean that I also want to be really gentle, which is season 2.0, version 2.0 of the Be That Healing Girl podcast is coming. Bow, 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 bow. Cue air horn. Is that the air horn sound? Bow, 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 bow. I don't know. But version 2.0, season 2.0 of the Be That Healing Girl podcast is coming, and I'm so excited. I've been reworking and I want to expand and do more things with the podcast. I'm also very, very open to your ideas, suggestions. This podcast is for you, truly. I just get to be the host. So if you have things that you want me to talk about more of, if you have suggestions or guests you want people on that you want to hear from, please send them, or send your suggestions, send me a DM, and I want to hear them. So in order for the version 2.0 to be coming, that does mean I'm going to take a little break, a little gentle hiatus, not that long, promise you, but we're going to take a little break and then come back strong with version 2.0 of the podcast in 2025, January. It's going to be dope. Can't wait to talk to you about it. So that being said, have a wonderful holiday. I am thinking of you. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you soon. Mwah.